I'm fascinated by this Planet 9 thing they're trying to observe now, because this is something I've been studying for a long time. That they've been thinking there was very little evidence of it up until recently, but that there was another planet outside the Kuiper Belt, somewhere outside of Pluto. It's one of the reasons why they declassified Pluto as a planet. But now they're almost positive that there's a planet out there. They said, I think that they said within 99% certainty that there's a gigantic planet somewhere around 4 to 5 times the size of the Earth that is out way, way, way past Jupiter. And so I was going to a lot of these YouTube videos that were describing it and then reading the comments. The comments were fascinating. So that's a totally different sort of world.
Yeah.
You know, people are debating like the ramifications, and then every now and then one of the Zecharia Sitchin people would jump in there. Do you know who Zecharia Sitchin is?
No.
Zecharia Sitchin was a guy who actually, ironically enough, predicted this in the 70s. But he called it the 12th planet because that's when they thought Pluto was still a planet, and then they thought the moon was a planet. Like this is all based on the Sumerian text. This is all getting real convoluted now. But Zecharia Sitchin, he is a biblical scholar. He's dead now, but he wrote all these books about this culture from another planet called the Anunnaki, and this is transcribing the ancient Sumerian text. The Sumerians were the oldest. There he is. See that thing that he's holding up in front of him? That is a piece of Sumerian art. Well, what's interesting is you see that star. See the star, the sun with all the planets? That is our solar system. It's not just our solar system. That is all the planets in all the right sizes, which is kind of fucking crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, and this was 6,000 years ago when a lot of people didn't even think that they thought the world was flat, right? But it also depicted this orbit, this what they believe is one of the things that the Sumerian texts describe, is this elliptical orbit of this planet called Nibiru. And this planet is in the outside edge of our solar system. It comes between Mars and Jupiter. This Zecharia Sitchin translation, I think it was every 3,600 something years. And that this is where the Anunnaki came from. And then what they did is they came down here, they studied some lower hominids, they introduced their DNA into these lower hominids and made human beings. And so he had predicted this planet being outside of our solar system for a long time. It's different.
And it's there.
Yeah, it is there.
Do we know what's on this planet?
Well, the orbit is different. The size of the orbit is different compared to what he described. No, we don't even have a picture of it, so we definitely don't know what it looks like. But the Anunnaki, as described by Zecharia Sitchin, is the same thing as in the biblical term of the Elohim. Like there's also different descriptions of these giants that came from somewhere else. Like those, I think the description of Anunnaki, what it means is those from heaven to earth came. And the idea is that there's advanced beings came down here and genetically engineered human beings. It's discredited by other scholars of ancient Babylonian and Sumerian culture. But see, when you do look at some of the stuff, though, you go, okay, well, how did they know about the solar system? How did they know about all those planets? Not only that, they had the caduceus, the caduceus, the symbol for medicine. It's also the double helix of DNA, and that's what he believes it represented. He believes that that caduceus symbol that they had represents DNA, and that's what the ancient Sumerian people were trying to describe when they carved these things into clay tablets. They were trying to, as best they could, make some sort of a rational, logical depiction of what they were being told by these ancient people.
Damn. So we might have already figured it out once, and then we're figuring it out again.
So you look at the double helix of DNA, and then you look at the caduceus, where this intertwined. You see the top one with the two eagles.
If I was 6,000 years old, man, and I was gonna design some shit with snakes,
6,000 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, it would kind of look like that.
Well, but it does look like a double helix of DNA. I mean, it's very, very similar.
But it also looks like a guy was just like trying to decorate with two snakes.
Totally.
Doing the tango.
But why does it represent medicine? And why does it still represent medicine today? That caduceus, that symbol, still represents medicine today.
True. It's that one I'm having trouble explaining.
There's some weird shit. There's also some weird shit in terms of some of the imagery that they had of the solar system one is one of the most telling because it's really bizarre that without a telescope they were able to draw a detailed image of the solar system. Like, how the fuck did they do that? How did they know that there was that many planets out there? How were they able to differentiate between stars and planets? How did they know the right number of planets?
Yeah.
Not only that, they also had a detailed depiction of the creation of the moon. They have two, scientists and astronomers, they have Earth 1 and Earth 2, meaning that Earth was a certain size and a certain shape in the beginning, and then it was hit by another planet. That's also in the ancient Sumerian depiction of how the universe was created, or how the solar system was created. There's a planet called Marduk and Tiamat, and Tiamat collided with Marduk or something like that. I forget exactly what but essentially it's Earth 1 and Earth 2. It's the same model that actual astrologers or astronomers use today when they're describing the Earth.
But he thinks these people from the other planet came here and created humans.
He does. He thinks, well, he's dead. He did. He believed that that's what the ancient Sumerian text was trying to describe. But there's a whole website called SitchinIsWrong.com, and SitchinIsWrong.com is from other scholars who were tired of listening to all this, what they felt was nonsense. And they sort of laid out what they think is incorrect about his translations. But at the end of the day, put the translations aside, and you're looking at a 6,000-year-old depiction of the solar system. It's like, what the fuck is that? Not only that, there's these also depictions of these enormous people with these little monkey people sitting in their lap. And this was what he believed was describing the Anunnaki's genetic alterations of monkeys, of taking these lower hominids, introducing their superior advanced DNA into these monkeys, and creating something that's very different. Do-do-do-do. I know we would do it. I'll tell you that. For fuck sure. Right? If we found another planet there was a bunch of dumb monkeys on, we did a detailed audit of the planet and found no higher animals, nothing that had a computer.
We would drop our seeds.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, we're probably already looking for those places to just
yeah, for sure.
Dudes.
At the very least, someone would fuck one of those things. Like Avatar, right? That was like one of the most realistic things about Avatar, that dude wanted to fuck one of those blue people.
I would be scared to put my dick in a blue person.
Yeah, you never know what's going on
Yeah,
there.
I don't know, man. That shit probably burns through condoms.
Especially if they're big.
Blue people.
They're so much bigger than us.
Yeah.
Well, it's fun. Most of it is fun. But if you look at that image that you had pulled up before, Jamie, there's an image of one of those Anunnaki having a little monkey-like person sitting in their lap. It's not on this page. It's before, when you had it, look at some of those other images. There's these ones where these guys, these enormous-looking characters, have these little tiny monkey people with thumbs on their feet, and they're sitting on this guy's lap.
They have thumbs on their feet?
Yeah, in the drawing. Yeah, they're smaller, and they have thumbs on their lap. And according to the text this guy described, the text is very confusing, too, because it's something called cuneiform. And cuneiform, it's like, have you ever been in an old building that has like those old school nails? Do you know what those old school nails look like? Like in the turn of the century, they were like a flat top, but it was almost like a wedge, and that's what nails looked like. Oh, that's how that was their writing. That's not it, Jamie. But that's one of them that's similar though. But this is Egyptian. You're looking at something that's Egyptian. But the Anunnaki one, you had it from just if you go back to that window that you had before. Go back to that window that you had before that had the depiction of the solar system.
Clicked around. Oh, on that one. Okay.
Yeah, because when you whatever search that you used for that, there was one of them that had one of those homeboys had one of them sitting on his lap. Right up there at the top. See right there, bam. See that?
Oh,
like look at that
with the thumb foot.
Yeah, there's a few of these that have little weird that people think are depictions of things with tails. It's very strange stuff, man. It's very strange. At the very least, they had an advanced knowledge.
That guy looks like a Teletubby, the one he's holding up. He kind of looks like a Teletubby.
Well, it doesn't look like a monkey in that picture, but in some of them, they actually look like they have tails. There's all sorts of weird stuff involved in it. Their knowledge of the solar system was one of the most disturbing things, because you're talking about 6,000 years ago. Like, how did they know about all those planets? How did they know that they were? They knew the right orbit. You know, they knew that Jupiter was like far larger than Mars. They had Mars smaller than Earth. They had like all the orbits correct. It was really strange stuff.
Yeah, it's too good to be a coincidence, but then I'm like, I don't know if I believe the whole shebang.
Yeah.
You know?
Almost always the whole shebang's wrong.
Which is dope. It gives you meaning.
It is dope.
I like
Should we end on that?
Yeah. I think that's fucking good.
It's dope.
Yeah, it's good.